Hey guys, Puzzle War here, coming at you with the very first episode of Diving into Umi, where I take a card or cards and I discuss them and their place in Umi control. Please keep in mind that I'm also coming from a very competitive standpoint. So by all means, if you guys want to include this card or any tech choices that I will be talking about in future episodes, by all means, go for it. This is just from me coming as a competitive duelist. So this is where I take cards and texts and discuss them and their place in Umi, water control. I am very passionate about this deck. I love this deck to death. And I love exploring different types of text choices and everything like that. In my past videos, as well as my live streams and on dueling book matches, I've had people commenting, telling me I should try Ties of the Brethren. Hey, Ties of the Brethren is pretty good. Have you tried Ties of the Brethren? Well, the short answer, yes, I have. Now, we're going to be discussing what I think of Ties of the Brethren in this particular deck. I will also be showing you guys a sample deck list, which would be on the screen right now. So if you guys want to make this deck or try it out yourself, this is what I've been playing with. By all means, if you guys have any type of card or tech choices that you guys think fits in Umi control, by all means, just leave it in the comments and maybe I'll make an episode of it. So, enough prattling. Let's get right to it, guys. Ties of the Brethren. This card states that pay 2,000 life points, target one level 4 or lower monster you control, and for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. Also, special summon 2 monsters from your deck with the same type, attribute, and level as that monster, but with different names from each other and that monster. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. So, in traditional water control, this card has no place in the deck. There are not enough decent targets to warrant this card. You also special summon via Sea Stealth, Fish Sonar, even Electric Jellyfish. So, what makes it good in this deck in particular? Well, this little card right here, Barrier Statue of the Torrents. If you guys have kept track of the TCG metagame for the past, I want to say almost 2 years, you guys know that Fluanderies plays a very similar card called Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. Essentially, this card's effect states that neither player can special summon monsters except water monsters. This card's pretty good. It hinders a lot of decks. Not only does it hinder, it cripples them. In the upcoming Kashtira format, which I believe this deck already has a pretty good matchup against, it kind of is an annoyance to them. Even though they do main deck water monsters, we have ways of protecting Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds that, honestly, Fluanderies does not have. But getting there is kind of a problem. Let's talk about that, okay? So, let's go back to Ties of the Brethren. It states, you have to target one level 4 or lower water monster you control. Okay, let's break that part down. The best target for you to target is Electric Jellyfish. Yes, you are able to bring out Electric Jellyfish through Ties of the Brethren, but Electric Jellyfish is your best target because it's the card that you want to hard normal summon for the turn. This card is your best normal summon. Obviously, if Kairyu isn't in your hand with a Legendary Ocean. But this card is the card that you want to normal summon. Okay, so we already know we want to target Electric Jellyfish. Okay, then it says you cannot special summon monsters after this card resolves. Okay, meaning that if you're going to special summon monsters, you have to do it before you resolve Ties of the Brethren. So, let's picture it in the mind. Okay, your opponent has nothing, and we have everything. It's kind of a 3-card combo, I want to say. So we need a Electric Jellyfish, and Ocean Dragonlord Kairyu, and a Ties of the Brethren. But obviously, this could be facilitated by any of these 2 cards and a Fish Sonar. So let's get right to it. You normal summon Electric Jellyfish, activate its effect, dump a Legendary Ocean, 2 special summon out Kairyu. Then you can activate Kairyu's effect, probably searching out a Sea Stealth attack. Just thinking about it, correct? Okay, not bad. So now that you're there, this is the standard Legendary Ocean water control play. You just set a couple floodgates and you pass turn. And this is more than enough usually to control the board. Okay, but we're not going to stop there. Now that you're sitting on your Chirutian and your Electric Jellyfish, you are going to activate Ties of the Brethren, targeting Electric Jellyfish. So, you pay the cost of 2,000, and now you get to special summon 2 monsters from your deck with the same type and attribute and level as that monster, but with different names from each other. So that right there is kind of a problem. Because if you're going into like turn 2, turn 3, or whatever, more than likely you'll have a Legendary Ocean on the board. Keep in mind, Legendary Ocean not only gives every water monster on the field 200 attacks plus 200 defense, it also lowers the level of all water monsters on both players' hand and field by 1. Meaning that Electric Jellyfish becomes a level 3. Okay? That kind of sucks. So, yeah, that already kind of sucks. Because if you're going into the later games and you draw Ties of the Brethren, you have a level 3 Electric Jellyfish, and you have no targets for a level 3 Aqua in your deck. We are currently running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 targets for Electric Jellyfish while he is level 4, because you are allowed to get Aqua monsters from your deck, but with different names from each other. So there is an argument that maybe you can bump Sea Stealth 2 up to 3, because this doesn't modulate attack. This doesn't modulate level. So your water monsters will still be the original level that they are, and you'll have technically Umi on the field, so that Electric Jellyfish has its negates and Chirutian has its floodgate-like effect activated on the board. So, going back to that, you're going to Ties of the Brethren, targeting Electric Jellyfish, and then you're going to bring out Barrier Statue of the Torrent and Doomkraken. Doomkraken in this deck shines, and there's also an argument for even running it at 2, because you kind of want to bring it out from the deck. You want it straight on the board. Why? Everybody knows Doomkraken's first effect: target a monster you control and an opponent's monster as well. Bring back your monster, special summon Doomkraken, pop your opponent's monster. That's a quick effect if Umi's on the board, but people tend to forget its secondary effect, meaning that when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can return this card to the hand, and if you do, negate that attack. That is our way of protecting Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Like in Fluanderies, many decks have to normal summon. And if the normal summon goes through, if the Fluanderies player isn't able to protect the Barrier Statue, well, bye-bye Barrier Statue. In this deck, it's a lot more mainstream. The Torrent is protected by the Doomkraken. And you have 2 floodgates on the board with Barrier Statue, negate, and a Gozen-like effect. So you're sitting very pretty in this board. Very little things can out this, except maybe a Dark Ruler no more, or something of the sorts. That being said, do I think that warrants running Ties of the Brethren plus Barrier Statue of the Torrent in this build? No. Water control does not need Ties of the Brethren and Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Here are my reasoning as to why. Many times I was running this board, I found myself already winning with Chirutian. Chirutian's effect, just being able to, for both players to only being able to control one non-water, is plenty of an effect. And I don't care if my opponent special summons. If anything, I want them to special summon, because more than likely it's going to be a non-water, meaning that they're already locked from even attempting to special summon something else, or summoning something else. So I don't really think that Barrier Statue of the Torrent is very much needed in this deck, because Chirutian just does what it does, but just better. That's number 1. Number 2. If this deck doesn't go first, you're already in a pretty bad situation. Because yes, in traditional Umi control, you can, you going second, you can activate Dark Ruler no more, activate Legendary Ocean, normal summon Chirutian, your opponent has to choose. That's fine. But you already wasted your normal summon on either a Chirutian or an Electric Jellyfish to pop off. So I just think Barrier Statue of the Torrent is 2 dead cards in the deck, because if you don't go first, if you don't somehow manage to get this card on the board first, Well, it's just a dead card. It doesn't really do anything. You have to hard normal summon it, or you have to special summon off of like jellyfish. And do you really want to do that? Not really, you know. So that's another con. Another con is you have to run two of it. And Ties of the Brethren. Many times I've drawn Ties of the Brethren turn 2, and I just have no use for it. I have no use for it because what's the point? I'd rather somehow be able to special summon my Kairyu from the grave using Sea Stealth or something of the sort. Because technically, I cannot conduct my battle phase. Meaning that Sea Stealth 2's effect that at the start of the battle phase I get to special summon a monster from my graveyard that mentions Umi is shut off. Because I can't go into battle phase. So that's already a hindrance. I believe this deck, you have to pilot it as a going first deck, always. And that's you're inherently at a disadvantage because of that. Now, maybe I'm missing a couple of things here and there. The deck is really good, especially because you do run, like I said, 6 targets. But the only problem is that these 6 targets are pretty asinine. I mean, yeah, you can bring out a Warrior of Atlantis from your deck, but why would you want to do that? Yeah, you can bring out Maiden of Aqua from your deck. That's pretty good. But again, why would you want to do that? I mean, sometimes Maiden of Aqua does shine. Just being able to treat Umi, being able to be treated as Umi in general. But the number 2, like the 2 cards you want to bring out is obviously Doomkraken and Barrier Statue of the Torrent. That's why Doomkraken at 2 doesn't seem that bad in this deck. Because even if you draw 1, you have another in deck. It's almost the same thing as Barrier Statue of the Torrent. But again, Kairyu just does a way better job at controlling the field than Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Nowadays, tier elements have water monsters that they can special summon. Kashira has water monsters that they can summon. Does that really matter? I mean, against Kairyu, not really. Because Kairyu just prevents it. And Barrier Statue of the Torrents, I mean, it's a pretty good card. Again, it's a pretty good card. I am on the fence about this deck. I just think these 3 slots, well, these 5 slots essentially, because you're basically using 5 slots for this deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can be utilized for better cards, being D-Fissure, other traps. I'm a big advocate of a third Foolish, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, so do I think Ties of the Brethren is needed in this deck? Absolutely not. Now, what do I rate it? Honestly, I rate it a 5 out of 10. Because when it pops off, man, does it pop off. But still, I can just do that. I can just do what I do with Ties of the Brethren with way less cards and minimizing the risks. This just requires more risk and I would say a little bit more setup. So what would be the point of that? This is the main deck that I've been playing with. Let's go over it. So obviously the 3 Kairyu, 3 Electric Jellyfish, 2 Warrior of Atlantis. I'm running 2 in this build because it's another target for Ties of the Brethren. If I somehow manage to draw every Torrent and every Maiden of Aqua and every Doomkraken, I have another level 4 Aqua. 2 Barrier Statue of the Torrents. Obviously I want to try to see if I special summon 1 out from the deck. 1 Maiden of Aqua, another target for Ties of the Brethren. 1 Doomkraken, the second best card to bring out of Ties of the Brethren, the 1 Kaiju, the 1 Mega Fortress, and the 1 Gaga Gigo. Legendary Ocean. So, this card, also keep in mind, I think I already spoke about it, but this card reduces the level of all water monsters on the field and in the hand by 1. Meaning that you can't really target Ties of the Brethren. You can't really target your Electric Jellyfish with Ties of the Brethren, and you kind of need to special summon out your other level 4s from the deck. Because this card will be level 3 if a Legendary Ocean is on board. So just please keep that in mind. So 3 Legendary Ocean, 2 Sea Stealth 2s. This could be probably debated in maybe running 3. And the only reason why is because in this deck, the level modulation, in a way, kind of hinders you. I don't want to say hinders you, obviously, but it kind of doesn't let you pop off. So you can probably get away with running 3 sea stealths, so you can do the electric jellyfish, Ties of the Brethren play, and you have jellyfish there with Umi on the board, being able to protect against Ash Blossom or anything of the sorts. 3 Ties of the Brethren, obviously the namesake of the deck, honestly. It's the card that we're discussing. 3 Fish Sonar, this will never change. 3 Pot of Prosperity, again, this will probably never change. 3 Dark Rulers no more. I'm a very big fan of this, and just still, if you are forced to go second, activating Dark Ruler no more, activating Legendary Ocean, normal summoning Kairushin is a power play. So still, it's a pretty good card. But keep in mind, if you have Legendary Ocean on board, more than likely your Ties of the Brethren are going to be dead the entire game. So that's kind of the bad part about it, to be completely honest with you. So you either just have to see Ties of the Brethren first, or Legendary Ocean, or hopefully you draw the Sea Stealth too. The 2 Foolish Burial Goods. I couldn't fit the third one, unfortunately. 2 Sea Stealth attack. Yeah, really nothing more to say about this card. It protects your cards. It can protect your barrier statue by banishing it and returning it during the end phase. But more than likely, you're going to be using it for Kairushin. 2 Kairushin's Dark Reef. Of course, this doesn't really change. It sets up your board. Yeah. And 2 Ice Barrier. This card is also pretty neat in this deck because it's another way of protecting your Kairushin as well as your Ice Barrier. As well as your monster. Anyway, guys, for the extra deck, that's kind of the only thing I wanted to talk about. There's nothing else. So if you guys enjoyed it, please like, rate, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you guys think about this episode. And if you want me to check any type of card choices or tech, please just write them down. Let me know what you guys think. Have a nice day.